Twins, the unfair advantage nobody talks about. Scientists studied twins raised completely apart. Different families, different cities, different countries, same humor, same fears, same jobs. One pair both became firefighters. Another both named their dogs the same name, without ever talking to each other. That is not coincidence. That is biology running deeper than anything your environment can touch. But here is what biology actually gave you, beyond the genetics. For most of human history, being alone meant being dead. Predators did not attack groups. They picked off whoever wandered away. Twins were the only humans born with a guaranteed partner from day one. Never the weakest target, always two. That shaped something in you that never left. Up to 40% of twins build their own private language as toddlers. It disappears by school age. The emotional wiring it built does not. Twins score significantly higher on empathy than people raised without a same-age partner. You have spent your whole life reading one person at close range, disagreeing, recovering, trying again before lunch. That is years of emotional practice before you ever step into the real world. You also carry less social fear than almost anyone. You have never once walked into a room completely alone. People feel that security in you without knowing why. The cost hits in your 20s. Who are you when someone shares your face? Twins who skip that question end up quietly stuck. The ones who face it come out with something rare, a clear sense of self, and a person who has known them longer than anyone alive. Most people spend years trying to build that kind of trust. You were born with it already in place. Firstborn. You were the test run. It worked. 23 of the first 29 astronauts NASA ever sent to space were firstborns or only children. Not 12, not 15, 23. Here is why that number keeps coming up. 50,000 years ago, a group of early humans camped in East Africa. The parents hunted and gathered. They could not do that and watch the younger children at the same time. So the oldest one watched them. Nobody asked. Nobody trained them. They were just the first one there, old enough for responsibility before they had any choice in it. That pattern repeated in every human group on every continent for thousands of generations. A study of over 241,000 men confirmed what that built. Firstborns score around 3 IQ points higher than secondborns. Not genetics. 3,000 extra hours of one-on-one attention from parents between ages 2 and 4. More words, more questions, more focus before anyone arrived to split it. Then, a sibling showed up, and you became a teacher. Explaining things forces you to actually know what you know. You cannot fake it with a 5-year-old asking why. That sharpened your thinking without anyone calling it training. Over half of all U.S. presidents were firstborns. So were the majority of Fortune 500 CEOs. Leadership was not something you chose. It was placed on you before you could read. The cost is real. You learn to perform before you learn to rest. Asking for help still feels like failing. That pressure built real things in you. It also built a weight you have been carrying since before you understood it was heavy. Only child. Everything pointed at you. Here is the stereotype. Spoiled, selfish, cannot share. Here is what 70 years of research says completely wrong. Only children match or beat firstborns on test scores. They develop bigger vocabularies earlier. They score higher on ambition than any other group. When every resource a family has goes toward one person, it builds something that shows up decades later. For most of human history, this was survival math. A family with one child could invest everything. More knowledge transferred, more skills passed down, more attention on every threat. Maximum investment per child was the most powerful advantage a parent could give. You also built something with solitude that most people never find. Being alone restores you. That connects directly to careers needing deep focus, writing, research, building things that take years with no audience watching. The real cost? When your parents have one shot, they put everything in, including all their fear. That creates drive. It also creates an inner voice that never fully shuts off and a standard you can never quite reach. You also had to learn conflict and negotiation later than your peers. Siblings teach those through daily fights. You learned through friendships instead, the uncomfortable way, later than everyone else. The gap closes, but that is just the shape of your path. Middle child, the dangerous one. Bill Gates, middle child. Warren Buffett, middle child. Martin Luther King Jr., middle child. Everyone forgot about them too. Being overlooked was not the problem. It was the training. In early human groups of 20 to 30 people, someone always had to keep the group from tearing itself apart. Not the strongest, not the leader. The one who could talk to both sides, who saw every angle because they had never been handed just one. Researchers who study group survival call this the coalition keeper. Every stable human group needed one. Without them, the group split. And groups that split died. That was you. A review of 200 birth order studies confirmed it. Middle children are more loyal in relationships than their siblings. They build wider friend networks. When family attention felt limited, they looked outside and built bonds that did not depend on sharing a last name. Researchers call them stealth leaders. They do not take over a room, they shape it from the inside. The shadow is identity. When you are not first and not last, figuring out who you actually are takes real effort. You can get so good at seeing every side that picking one feels impossible. But when everything shifts, job, city, relationship, you move in ways that catch people completely off guard. Change does not shake you the way it shakes everyone else. You were raised inside it. Bonus baby. Raised by a village. Most kids get 2 parents. You got 5. The bonus baby, born 6 or more years after the others, lands inside something evolution spent thousands of years building. Multiple caregivers. Older siblings who already mapped every landmine. Parents who already made their worst mistakes and fixed them. Anthropologists found this consistently. Children raised by more than 2 caregivers survived at significantly higher rates. More adults invested meant more protection, more knowledge passed down, more eyes watching. Researchers call this cooperative breeding. It is one of the main reasons humans outlasted every other primate on Earth. Your siblings knew which parent to ask, which topic to avoid, which mood meant leave it alone. You got that knowledge for free. Someone else ran the trial. You just absorbed the results. The cost is feeling like a different generation inside your own family. Holidays can feel like arriving at a movie halfway through, and people keep treating you like the baby, even at 27. But you came up as the youngest person in every room for years and learned to hold your own with people older, louder, and more experienced. You developed social fluency faster than anyone else on this list. That is a head start. Most people never knew they missed. 2-child family, 1 rival, no hiding place, 2 kids, 1 family. Suddenly, everything is a competition. In a house with 1 sibling, there is no crowd to disappear into. You were either leading or watching, and both roles built something the other could not get. For most of human history, siblings were your first allies and your first rivals. In small human groups, how well you handled your sibling predicted how well you handled everyone else. The skills built at home were the ones used to survive outside of it. In a 2-kid family, that is concentrated. No buffer. Just you and 1 person who knows every version of you and is not afraid to use it. The older one got handed responsibility before asking for it. 1 younger sibling watching every move creates pressure an only child never feels. The younger one got a live case study 1 step ahead and skipped an entire layer of failure because someone else paid for it first. Both positions share a rivalry close enough to push you, but small enough that you actually know each other. That builds a specific resilience only children never develop, and kids in large families rarely get this directly. The older one struggles to let go of control. The younger one struggles to pick up responsibility. Both are running patterns built before age 10. Both can rewrite them, but only once they see them clearly. Youngest child, born to move people. By the time you arrived, your parents had run the experiment twice. The rule book got shorter. The panic that shaped your older siblings had been replaced by calm. In early human groups, the oldest carried experience. The middle ones kept the peace. But every group needed someone willing to try something new when the old way stopped working. Someone with the least to lose, and enough distance to see when the current plan was failing. That was almost always the youngest. Research confirms it. Lastborns show up in comedy, acting, and creative fields at much higher rates than any other birth position. They score higher on risk-taking and openness. They challenge existing systems more than any other group. You also learned influence before authority. You could not beat your siblings with size or experience, so you learned to charm, persuade, and make people want to say yes. That is one of the most powerful social skills that exists. The real challenge is discipline and being taken seriously. Building internal structure takes deliberate work when no one forced you to develop it. Credibility sometimes takes longer than it should, even when you clearly deserve it. But the world runs on the ability to connect, take a risk when others freeze, and make people feel something. You came built for exactly that. What this actually means for you. For most of human history, your position in a family was not just a family dynamic, it was a survival role. The firstborn watched the camp when the parents were gone. The middle child kept the group from splitting apart. The youngest tried the thing nobody else would. The only child got everything a parent could give. The twins were never alone. The bonus baby had a whole village at their back. Those roles built real skills, real patterns that are still running in you right now. Whether you chose them or not, every position gave you something genuine. Every position handed you a cost. The people who understand where they started are the ones who get to choose where they go next. Push harder into what came naturally. Name the pattern that has been quietly slowing you down and decide what to do with it. Your birth order shaped you. It does not own you. That is the only difference between someone who runs the pattern forever and someone who finally uses it.